say a little welcome to you, a short welcome in the Mohawk language. And it's Sego, gonna go up. And that means I'm greeting you in the great peace that fills creation. The spirit of the water. Ajaya ho dunya yo hey. Ajaya ho dunya yo hey. Jaya, the spirit of the fire. Ajaya ho dunya yo hey. So in the shape-shifting work that we're going to do here, everything that we do, we'll do in deep breathing except when we become water.
This is a really nice way, or is a nice way to start the day. His exercises, some of them a bit more strenuous than I'm used to, and certainly my wolf pose was a little rusty as I was leaning back, howling at the moon. I was glad that was over, and my shape-shifting into a snail was kind of more like an escargot, I think.
My wolf pose was all right. My wolf howl wasn't very good, and I think he did point that out.
Weak wolves here.
The hummingbird was a bit of a nasty one.
The hummingbird was not an easy one, that's right. The hummingbird was not a pretty sight. And I really wouldn't want to demonstrate
ever
the hummingbird, but the rainbow I was able to do. The rainbow
and the water.
Yeah, and the water was actually a particularly good one. We just lay there and relaxed.
Yeah.
When do you anticipate moving back here?
1:30ish. We're going to be hiking along the Cross River, and it's a river that is real. It's close to my heart, as you realized. The place we've called the Cross River Wilderness Center after the Cross River. So this place along the Cross River, we'll be walking along the river to where it joins with the Kootenai River, and lots of waterfalls along the way.
Oh, here's the waterfall. Look at this. Look at this.
And as we get to the bottom, where the two rivers meet, we'll actually be high on a cliff where we can overlook the river plains where the two rivers meet and join together. Lots of gorgeous views, and yeah, it'll be a nice, enjoyable walk. The First Nations people in this area, they used to take this very acidic buffalo berry, mix it with animal fat, which was the base, and there you have a bar of soap. And it was actually used as a bar of soap. And we ate it because it's actually very, very medicinal.
Sure.
He's got a program.
What's it taste like?
Called
Awful?
Awful.
which is
Why? I think you have to be in a place like this to really start to really remember that there's more to life than the busy hustle that we seem to be in sometimes.
It's nice out in nature when we can enjoy it all together, and
It gives you time, a chance to relax and start to think about other things.
Had a little look in the teepee yesterday, and it looked like a pretty nice place to stay, actually. I mean, it's, we've camped in some pretty uncomfortable places, and so that's luxurious accommodation down there. So I think we'll give that a try tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be cozy.
Good sized pillow.
Yeah. Biggest tent I've ever been in.
It's a teepee, Doug.
Oh,
Coming up, our couple takes part in an ancient ceremony.
If anyone, feels like they need out, say, "Let me out of here."
It was a quiet night, probably the quietest I've heard in years. I couldn't hear sirens anywhere. There was no people partying. There was no bars letting out. It was fantastic.
Now, I'm originally from Oklahoma, and I was born on a little self-sustaining farm there. I'm enrolled with the Choctaw people, and a lot of people haven't heard of the Choctaw people because the Choctaws are people of peace, so there's nothing newsworthy about that. And I ended up going to residential school, so I spent 6 years there learning about, things that I'm not even going to talk about. That all the things that happened to be in my life, including all the abuse, made me stronger and has given me an opportunity to learn about the power of forgiveness. Oh, thank you.
It's certainly an intriguing type of ceremony because it's so universal amongst First Nation groups all over Canada, certainly, and from what I understand, over a lot of the world. So I think it'll be pretty interesting to try that for the first time.
So we just stack it right here
Just lay it right out there.
on this side?
I'm not worried about it. It's just foreign to me, something new. So cautiously optimistic.
The Aboriginal and the cultural sharing and learning side of what goes on here is not something that people think about beforehand, and is not necessarily something they book or actively go out searching for. Some do, but many don't. But then after having been here, arrived, and experienced it for, in most cases, the first time, it turns out to be their best experience of their life.
I do not charge for any ceremony. Absolutely not, never have. But I've come out here to live in a way, like the ancestors lived as much as we can these days, and to be an example of doing things without getting paid for them, in money anyway. This lodge is for all people on this Mother Earth. It's for every ancestor who ever lived.
As we got a little bit closer, we started learning more and more about the 4 rounds that we would be taking part in, talking to some of the really interesting folks around here who have done this before, and realizing just how sort of serious this is. I did start to get worried.
And I didn't realize that Doug was a bit worried about it, but I certainly was. I was concerned.
As it approached, I was a bit tentative about going into that lodge.
If anyone, feels like they need out, all you have to do is say, "All my relations," and if that doesn't work, say, "Let me out of here." Okay.
We went in there and we worked our way through in the order that we should go, working around in the right direction around the lodge. We sat down in our places, and we were given instruments, rattles or drums. And the rocks came in, and the door closed,